So now it's time to start with the CSS part of the project. So for that, we need to use this style.css file, and this file is already linked with this particular link tag. So you can see I have linked the style.css file. Okay, so it's time to open this particular style.css file. So the first element that I will be using inside this particular one is going to be the body element. So here I will be resetting the margin to 0, then padding to 0, and then I will also be using the font like family, and then I will be adding the font family to sans serif. Then I will be changing the display to actually flex, and also I'm going to open the version of the application. So if I control save it, then you can see the margin and padding is actually resetted, and also the font family is changes to sans serif one. And then I will be using the justify content, like this particular one, which is this one is going to be the center, and then I will be using the align items, which is going to be center. So you can see now it's actually getting the center of the screen, means the elements is now displaying at the center of the browser screen. Then I will be using the height property, which is going to be like 100 ph. Control save it. Actually it is not displaying at the center. So here I have made a mistake. Here I need to use the center property instead of using the baseline. So now you can see it's actually displaying at the center of the browser screen. Then I need to specify the background color. So background color is going to be hash symbol 3498TB. Alright. And after that I will be adding the color to white. Control save it. So now you can see the bluish color is actually applied, and also the color is changed to white one. After that I will be using the container, which is like this particular one, which is the main division element. And then I will be using the text alignment, which is going to be the center. Okay, and then I need to use the number hyphen container class, which is the container. If I actually open the index.html, so number hyphen container, that is this particular container in which we have this span element. In that particular span element, we are going to display the generated random number. So coming back to the style.css again, inside the number container, I will be adding the font size to actually 3 rem units. And then I will be here adding the margin bottom property, which is going to be like 1 rem units. And then I will be here using the animation property, which is going to be like fade in. And then it is going to be like 1 ease and then ease in out. If I control save it, and now if I refresh it, actually it is not applying it because we need to create the keyframes for this particular fade in animation. So add the rate keyframes identifier name, which is going to be like fade in. Okay, and then I need to create the keyframe. So it is like from, and then I need to use the to, starting its block of the code. Inside the from, I will be adding the opacity to actually 0. And then here I will be using the transform, which is going to be like translate y. And then I need to specify the value, which is going to be like minus 20 pixel. Okay, and then here I need to use the opacity again. So opacity is going to be 1. And then I need to here use the transform, which is going to be like translate y, which is going to be 0. If I control save it, now you can see the fade in animation is actually applied to this particular number container. Okay, so the next step is we need to style the button so that it will look like this greenish button. Okay, so for that we need to here select the button. So button, and then I need to start the block of the code. So here I will be using the background color, that is this particular one, has symbol 2ECC71. And after that I will be using the color, which is going to be like white. And then I will be here using the padding. So padding is going to like 1 rem. Then I need to here use the 2 rem units. Control save it. Then you can see the button style is changed a little bit. Okay, and after that here I will be using the border radius. Actually I need to first use the border to actually none. So border is going to be none. Then I need to use the border radius, which is going to be like 5 pixel. And after that I need to use the font size, which is going to be like 1.2 rem units. And then I need to use the cursor to pointer one, and then I will be using the transition, that is this particular one, which is going to be like background color. So I need to apply the transition to the background color. So background hyphen color, it is like 0.3s. Control save it. Now you can see the button style is changed. Then for applying the button hover effect, So here I will be using the pseudo class hover. So button, which is going to like this particular one hover, then to start its block of the code, and then I need to here provide the background color. So background has symbol to 7AE60. Control save it, and now if I hover over it, then you can see the color of the button is actually changing. So that marks the completion of the CSS part for the random number generator application. So you can see the application is now looking similar to the final version of the application. This is the upper version of the application, and this will be the final version of the application. So both of these application is now looking similar. So from the next lecture onwards, we're going to start with the JavaScript part of the project. So in the previous lecture, we have completed the CSS part of the project. So now from this lecture onwards, we're going to start with the JavaScript part. So I have already linked this particular script.js file inside the index.html by using this particular script tag. So now coming back to the script.js file, first I need to get the reference of these two elements inside the JavaScript variables. So for that, here I need to use the const keyword. So by using the const keyword, I'm going to create here two variables. The first one is going to be like our generate btn, and this is going to be equals to document.getElementById, and then here I need to specify the id name. So coming back to index.html, so this is the span element and this is the button. So this will be used to generate the random number. So this is the generate btn. So I'm going to specify the generate btn id name here inside this particular one. So now we have the reference to this particular button. Similarly, I'm going to create the one more variable. So like this particular, which is the const, and then I need to here use the number element. And this is going to be equals to document.getElementById, and then here I need to specify the name of the id. So this is the number element. So here inside this particular random number, we need to display the generated random number. So I'm going to paste the id name here. After that, we need to set the listener to this particular button. So here I will be using the generate btn add event listener. So we want to listen to the click event. So here I need to specify the click listener, and then I will be here need to provide the callback. So I will be here using the arrow function. Okay, then to start its block of the code, so here I will be using the arrow function. Okay, and then I need to here use the const. So const, that is random number. So we are going to initialize it with the use of math dot random method, that is this particular one, and then I need to specify here some code. So also I need to add here a +1, because by default the random number is going to be generated from 0 to 99. So math.random, and then I need to multiply it with the 100. Okay, then I need to actually put all of this code inside the round brackets. Okay, so once we are getting the random number, then we need to set it to the display element, which is the span element. This is this particular number element. So for displaying the data, number element dot text content property, we need to update the content of the span element, which is the text content, to actually a random number, which is the value stored inside this particular variable. So what we are actually doing it here, we are first calculating the generated random number by using this particular line of the code, and then we're going to display it inside this particular number element by updating its text content property and setting it to the value of the random number, means initializing the text content property to the value of the random number variable. And also we need to add this +1, because if we didn't add it, then we are not getting a 100, because random number function will generate the values from 0 to 99. It's actually excluding the 100. Okay, so now if I control save it, and now if I click on this particular button, so you can see we are able to generate the random number, but it's actually showing these all floating representation, which we don't want it. So we need to wrap this entire code of this particular one, that is this math.random one, inside the math.floor function. So what I am going to do it here, math.floor, and then I need to start the bracket, and then I need to close the bracket, and I'm going to simply close it here. Like this one, math.floor. Inside this particular, we need to specify this math.random into 100. So we are getting a positive value. So now if you want to learn more about this floor function, you simply need to hover over it. Then you can see a small definition is actually appearing inside this particular one, which is the Visual Studio Code window. Returns the greatest integer less than or equal to its numeric argument. So it's basically returns the greatest integer, means it's actually going to return a positive greatest integer. Okay, so if I control save it, and now if I click on this random number generated button, then you can see we are successfully able to display the random number. Okay, so you can see here we are able to generate a random number, and the updated random number value is actually going to be displayed inside this particular span element. All right, so that marks the completion of this particular module, which is the random number generated application. So if you like this module, then leave your review, because your review motivates me to create more awesome and unique projects like this. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next module. Thank you very much.